Hello and welcome back. This is going to be a different kind of video. It's just kind of a response to something I saw on YouTube. I'm seeing a lot of this. It's young men, 30s and 40s, kind of disillusioned about things, wondering what they can do. I'm kind of reluctant to give life advice because I don't want to give bad advice. The same way I don't like to talk about religion because I certainly don't want to lead someone astray. But I just thought it was curious. And I thought maybe I could share with this young guy and maybe with some other young guys my particular story here with this little shop. And I explain this a lot in my blog. I don't write the blog anymore. I don't think too many people read it. And I just do the YouTube and Facebook. And it's too much to keep up with everything. I'm currently in the shop. This is a mold that I'm working on. And you can see I got to notch this out with the hacksaw because the bolts are interfering with it. And whenever you have a new mold, there's a process you go through where you're kind of reluctant to put it in and see if it works or not, because I've had so many that have failed. I mean, I'm probably at a 70 or, I don't know, maybe 60% work, 40% don't. Which is, it's kind of, it deflates you a little bit, especially when you put a lot of work into them. I've had, I'm going to say 4 car molds fail over the past couple years, and I'm going to try to start another one here as soon as the weather breaks, and it's starting to get warm out. You just got to go. So here's my advice to this young guy. Just a couple things. He's not that much different in age than I was when I started doing this, and the circumstances of how I got into this were, kind of crazy. I had worked at Harley Davidson for 19 years, and I kind of planned to retire at 55 and travel the world. Everything was all set, fat, dumb, and happy. It was good. Typical scenario, things change. You have to adapt. We got a new CEO who I despise, and he came in and decided to lay off, 2/3 of the workforce and hire temps. Very chaotic time, very stressful time. Everybody was going through all these problems. But it was also an opportunity because they were going to pay me 19 weeks pay for leaving. I got 1 week for every year that I was there, severance to get out. Kind of the same thing that's going on with the government workers right now. They're getting 8 months, so I looked at it like if I stayed, I would spend the rest of my life at a job that I'd grown to hate. I really like the job. I'm very mechanically inclined. You give me bolts and stuff, and I'm at home. That's my happy place, But I hated the way the direction of the company was going. It was just relentless, endless profits, and they didn't treat us like we were part of the team anymore. We were not working together as a team. We were basically an obstacle to be replaced and minimized, which is what's happening a lot with AI. If your company can replace you with a computer program, they will. If you can be replaced by a robot, you will. And this is extending to a lot of different things. So you have to be able to adapt to the constant changes that are happening. So when I took the buyout and I bought this plastic machine sitting behind me, paid $500 for it. First time I ever seen it. It showed up on a trailer at the freight. I picked it up in the bed of my pickup truck and went to town trying to figure out how to do it. One of the best assets that I had that helped me was there are just an enormous number of people who knew a lot about industry who were just discarded. When America discarded its industrial base, they threw away a lot of really, really good, talented people that had enormous skills. And they're right now driving your DoorDash. They're right now. One of the guys worked at the post office. He was a temp on my packages, and he would give me advice on how to build molds. The guy knew, amazing amounts of information. It was totally wasted because he was outsourced. But anyhow, that's beside the point. But this is what I wanted to talk about to this young guy. First of all, if you ever seen a movie about a zombie apocalypse, we don't live in a zombie apocalypse. There's not a bunch of people coming running at you trying to consume you and eat your flesh. We live in an asshole apocalypse where there's an enormous amount of people in the world who literally harvest other human beings' lives to benefit themselves. And it's very easy to become jaded and become infected with that yourself. So you see this happening, and then you become an asshole too, and you go out and start harvesting other people. There's people that want to change the system. There's people that want to change their position within the system. There's a big difference. It's, you don't, to me, you shouldn't complain about the system if all you're trying to do is change yourself from one peg to the next, whatever. So, they call it human resources when you go to work. You're a human and you're a resource, you're being harvested. That's okay, as long as it's kind of a reciprocal. Okay, you handle the business side of things or whatever, and I'll try to do the best job I possibly can for you, and we have sort of a reciprocal arrangement. And that's kind of been eroded now, because now it's just an all-out, if you can be replaced with another person from another country, a robot, a software program, you will be. So the first thing that I would give advice to this young guy is, don't let the contagion spread to you. Don't let it harden you. Don't let it happen. Because the worst thing you want to do is become the thing you despise, because it's hard to live with. Try to become adaptable. Try to become flexible. You've got to, start somewhere. And you have to be motivated enough to change. If you spend your life either on the clock or on the couch, you're too comfortable. You don't want to change. You don't have a need to change, because you have your clock, and you clock out, you go to the couch. You get off the couch, you go back in, you clock in. You're not ready for change. But when you get to the point where you're like, I'm effing fed up with this crap, I'm willing to take some of my free time that I could be wiggling my thumbs, I'm willing to do something about it. Until you reach that point, you're not going to, you can go on YouTube and complain all you want. You got to actually take positive action that I'm going to do something. You got to do something for yourself. The best thing you can do, self-analyze yourself, figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are. And I don't care who you are, you got to have some kind of strength or weakness. I mean, it can be as simple as picking up dog poop. Okay, there's people that start a business of picking up dog poop. There's people that do this and do that. But if you can get something going where you can't be fired, where you don't have to worry about being fired, start it as a side gig. And I read a whole lot of self-help stuff over the years. I went through this when I was in my early 40s. So I the guy on this video was this age. And it's very traumatic. I thought I was set for life. My wife and I both worked at the same place. We had 3 kids. All of a sudden, both our jobs were going to be yanked off from under us, so we adapted. But if you can get a side gig going, it works. This little plastic machine has been my side gig. Now, has it supported me? No. It never was able to support me, because I wasn't willing to go in debt. So as soon as my resources or my capital began to shrink, I would go out and get a job. But one of the things it did do is, when you have to go out and get a job, and you have a side gig or a secondary source of income, right? That job can't shit on you. You can literally have this power to say F you and walk. When you have to rely on this job and you're living paycheck to paycheck, you don't have that freedom. So one circumstance, I took a part-time job and I was working with some handicapped gentlemen. It was actually a real life-changing experience. I'm glad I did it, right? But it was just a 2-day-a-week part-time job. And I needed some time off to go with my daughter to an appointment. She had some serious medical issues, and they wouldn't. The management there they were all young, college educated, and totally disrespectful of some old guy, whatever. And they just wouldn't do it. They were just like, go pound sand. And I told them, you will find me a replacement for this day, or you will find me a replacement for every single day from now on. And they didn't think I would do it. I walked. And I have the ability to do that, which is what, so my advice to this young guy is self-examine yourself, figure out what you can do. There's got to be something you can do, and figure out something you can sell on Etsy, something you can sell on eBay. A lot of the advice that people are giving is start a YouTube channel. Well, the whole world can't consist of people looking at each other's videos. I don't personally think so. I don't personally think that, unless you're an Instagram or whatever they call them, OnlyFans models. Yeah, if you got the looks, cash in, whatever, retire at age 25 and live the rest of your life on an island. Good for you. But many of us aren't that photogenic. So I would say to this guy, figure out something you can do and start it as a side gig. And then sacrifice some of your time that you're, doing whatever, and go for that. Now, one of the things is when you bring something new into your life, sometimes you got to let something else go. And I've had to do this because there's only so much time. You only have so much mental bandwidth to spend on things. So I haven't gone fishing in a long time. I'm going to start again this year. And I used to always have an old car, and I had my 67 Firebird convertible, and I sold that several years ago. I just realized I didn't have the bandwidth mentally to focus on taking care of it and do all the things that it needed. And it just kind of sat here in the way because I wanted to work on some other things. I mean, there's some things that I want to do going forward, but it is what it is. So some of the benefits of building your own income stream is that one of the things that is the freedom. And once you have that, you never want to go back in. You never want to go back. You never want to give it up again. And the thing about being your own boss is it's great to be the slacker employee, but you also got to be the boss. You got to push yourself. So you have to be able to discipline yourself. And I would also say to this young gentleman that don't give up in despair. When I have some bad things happen to me, and I had a lot of bad things happen to me. I had a lot of setbacks. I smashed my hand, cut my finger off, broke this knuckle. It was in the press. I was working on it, and I forgot it was whatever. I was doing maintenance on it, and I didn't have a lockout tagout system, right? Whatever. And that was a big setback. I had the shipping issue from China that I talk about all the time. That is the fatal wound that's going to bleed me out eventually. I realize that. It is an unbeatable advantage that they have. I've been sitting here for years waiting for someone to notice this and fix it. It's just not anyone's priority. So they're just bleeding us dry because my shipping goes up every single year to cover the shipping for my Chinese competitors who get free shipping. And if you're a war gamer, that's a broken system, whatever. So I have to adapt to that, and that's what you do. You just keep adapting, you just keep moving on. But if you have anything at all that you can do it. Just do it, because we have this strange economy where the rich they've been trying to replace their employees for years with automation and stuff like that. You are an obstacle, you're not wanted. And we need to understand that as humans. We are obsolete now. They want to replace us with AI. They want to replace us with robots. And I don't know what they're going to do with us. But we can work together. And this is the other thing that I wanted to say about the asshole apocalypse. Don't assume that everyone who approaches you is a zombie. Because give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Because one of the things that particularly men, this is a toxic thing for men, I think, is the overemphasis on competition. Competition will only get you so far. Collaboration and cooperation is where you're going to be strong. That's where your real strength comes in. And I've collaborated with some people that have been really beneficial. I've collaborated with some things that turned into train wrecks. But that's where you're really going to go far. And a lot of people aren't trained to do that, especially the people who are just into cannibalizing and consuming other people's lives, because they're afraid that everyone else is going to consume their lives. As long as you can get into some kind of reciprocal agreement. I heard the expression that a relationship is like a football field. And so, you get the end zones. As long as you're in the 50-yard line, maybe between the 40 and the 40, you're good. When one side starts going down to the 30, this side's, getting more and more and more. So now they got 70 yards and you only got 30 yards over here, right? And then they push a little bit further. Well, eventually this person down on this side gets pushed too far, and they're just like, no, this is out of balance. I don't like it. And that's kind of how I felt working at Harley Davidson after all we were part of the team. And then suddenly we weren't part of the team anymore. We were an annoying expense to be eliminated. And the saying that I was like is, you and a buddy go out and get a dozen donuts, and he eats 11 and asks for a bite out of yours. And you're looking at him like, you just ate the 11. No. I mean, that's just the way they think. They can have you on the 1 inch line down here, and they're going to keep pushing. And when they do push you over, they're like, yay, we scored. But you need to just keep your collaborations between the 40s, okay? And you'll be good. You'll be good. I've had some ridiculous proposals put to me, and I always try to, emphasize the spiritual side of things, do unto others. And it's like, if I sell a car to somebody, I sell it to them for the price that I'd be willing to pay for it. If I took it home and I would say, I got a good deal on this, right? if I buy a car from somebody, I want to be able to go home and say, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Survivors out there, the people that are sane and rational in this world of madness, collaborate with them, build a network, find out what your strengths are, find out what you can do, find out what you can't do. Get off the couch when you're not on the clock and do something. Now, they're emphasizing going to the gym and lifting weights, whatever. I mean, I would say strengthen your skill set, strengthen your toolbox. One of the things is with tools, you can do stuff. With skills, you can do stuff. With knowledge, you can do stuff. I mean, unless you're thinking of getting a job as a mason tender, going to the gym, I don't know what you're going to do with that. I mean, it's great for you. Good. It's good. It builds discipline. It builds character. But just adapt and don't get down in the dumps. This guy posted this video, and this is why I'm doing this reaction video to his video. Don't get down in the dumps. I've had ridiculous setbacks. This mold probably won't work. And I always am reluctant to try it out the first time, because before it fails, in my mind, it's a fabulous success. So we'll see. Give yourself a day to piss and moan. You know what I mean? If you want to just lay on the couch and watch Lord of the Rings, it's fine. Then the next morning, get up and brush it off. Just shake it off and move on. Let that shit roll off your shoulders and start the next day. Don't ever let yesterday ruin tomorrow. And that's one of the things, that happens. But the other thing is learn from this situation. So I just want to tell this guy, I was in my 40s. I was going through the same thing. Had a job I hated, in debt up to my ass, and everything got turned upside down by a new CEO. I hated the guy, but at the end of the day, he allowed me to raise my granddaughter. He let me keep my mom out of a nursing home for a year. He let me have a lot of chances to learn new skills, to do things that I like. And now here I am. I just turned 60, and I'm in my shop. I can stay here for the rest of my life and never be bored. I can live modestly. I can't live extravagantly. If I could, I'd have a Challenger, but I don't. But I mean, I can live modestly for the rest of my life. I can do the things that I like to do. I can never be bored, and just tinker around. And it's good. But 15, 16, 17 years ago, it was looking bleak. And this guy that was on this video is going through that bleak period. And he needs to understand that there can be a path ahead. I mean, I'm an idiot. I finished 10th grade, and I just kept my ears open, learned from everybody that I could. And I didn't learn from going to school, because one of the things that happened at Harley Davidson, a lot of these guys were in their 40s. They took their money and they went to community college. I'm thinking, what are you doing? I'll give you two examples that really blew my mind. So there was a groundskeeping crew that kept the snow cleaned off. They kept the grass mowed. They were union employees. Well, they outsourced that. They laid those guys off. They outsourced that to a company. And I was like, why don't you guys take all of your severance pay, buy a couple of John Deeres, bid on the contract, and come back and do your same job as independent contractors? And they looked at me like, what are you, nuts? We had one of the best chrome rooms in North America, probably in the world. Guys were incredibly skilled. I worked back there. It is an extremely high-skilled job. Not like computer stuff, but very finesse. Getting that mirror finish on those oil tanks and stuff, it breaks your wrist, because I've done it. I've stood there all night long, belt sanding those things. And they outsourced it, right? Okay, we don't need this chrome room. Your guys are all gone. And I'm thinking, you guys should all take your severance pay, buy this equipment that they're scrapping at auction, get a building, and start your own chrome room. I mean, the wealth of knowledge that was there was mind-blowing, right? Nope. They let it all go. They scrapped all the stuff from the chrome room. The guys all took their severance packages. I don't know what they did. Went fishing. Who knows? Went to Vegas, whatever. I go to a giant grocery store. There's a guy that works here checking me out. He used to be the setup guy back in the chrome room. All that knowledge, all that experience, all those skills, gone. He's bagging my groceries. He's a great guy. I'm not just diminishing it. I don't, whatever. When an opportunity comes along, and they will, just be aware. Okay, just be aware. And in my situation, I had the backing. I don't want to say I had the backing, but my wife, she stayed at Harley Davidson. because she didn't want to take the risk. I was just to the point where I was like, I'm done. I walked. And it kind of worked out because we kind of worked together a little bit. So I had a little bit of a backing there, and I plugged along. And there's been times when I was putting my damn house payment on my credit card. But it is what it is. I mean, you just keep plugging along. I'm out here in the garage. It's warming up. I'm going to tinker around and do whatever. And it did work out for me. So I just want to tell this young guy, adapt, collaborate. Sorry, I didn't mean to whack the desk right next to this microphone. I hope that didn't sound terrible. Adapt, collaborate, understand we have an asshole apocalypse. Look for survivors who are not infected. Don't let yourself get infected. And you guys band together, and you can all live happily ever after. So that's my stupid rant for today. And I'm going to post this and then to try to share this link. So it's kind of an off-topic one. But I'm going to share this link to this gentleman who was, posting his video, and maybe it'll help him. I mean, don't follow me into madness, but understand that you can figure something out. All right, good luck, buddy. Good luck out there, okay? All right, thanks for watching.